Ever feel like you're drowning in a sea of marketing tools trying to keep your business running smoothly? What if you could simplify it all with one platform? That's where Go High Level comes in, your all-in-one sales and marketing solution built for small businesses like you. In fact, Go High Level has over 1 million users just like you. With Go High Level, you can capture leads, automate your prospect and client journeys, quickly and efficiently build stunning websites, sales pages, and sales funnels. Imagine managing your CRM, email, SMS, and funnels without duct taping a dozen tools together. Plus, their unlimited plan lets you add as many contacts and users as you need, no hidden fees. We've been using Go High Level for over a year now and absolutely love it. In fact, Profit First Nation is also powered by Go High Level. Ready to level up? Start your Profit First Nation extended 30-day free trial today at www.gohighlevel.com/Profit First Nation. That's www.gohighlevel.com/Profit First Nation. Streamline your workflow, impress your clients, and grow smarter, not harder.
Welcome to Profit First Nation, the official podcast for entrepreneurs who are operating their businesses in the zone of permanent profitability. I'm Mike Michalowicz, the author of Profit First, and now here's your Profit First Nation guide, Danielle Mulvey.
Hello, my entrepreneurial friends. Today's episode, we are going to talk about the 3 slippery slopes that you need to be cognizant of and make sure that you are not falling victim to letting the profitability of your company bleed from these 3 slippery slopes that just kind of take it and you just ride with it and then go, what happened? These slippery slopes all relate to probably the largest expense category on your income statement or your profit and loss report, and that is payroll. Yep, we're talking employees, we're talking payroll. The biggest expense on most businesses' income statements and profit and loss reports is payroll, and that is employee related, right? And it's how big your team is and who your team is. So the 3 slippery slopes that you need to avoid, number 1 is you need to be cognizant of what the cost of a mishire is, because I too often see employers hire people by half-assing their recruitment and hiring and saying, well, they seem good enough, we'll give them 90 days and we'll figure it out. Usually after those 90 days, they didn't figure it out and you really did make a mishire. So when you hire someone and think, oh, we'll just give them a 90-day probationary period, that's the sign right there that you shouldn't be hiring them. Because if you do make a great hire, they should hit the ground running. They should be going 60 miles an hour on week 1. They should be going 70 miles an hour by week 2. They should be at 100 miles an hour by like weeks 5 or 6. You don't need to give someone 90 days. You want people who are ready to go out of the gate fast. So if you do make a mishire though, let's calculate the cost of a mishire. Now, I know you could Google it, but I'm going to break it down for you how I get to the cost of a mishire. And in this case, we're going to say that the cost of a mishire is $23,000. Yeah, the cost of one mishire on the modest end is $23,000. How do we break it down? Well, if you're paying someone $25 an hour, $25 an hour times 40 hours a week times 90 days equals $12,000. So right there, it's $12,000 in just salary. Then we've got to add another 20% on that $12,000 for employer taxes and benefits. So that's another $2,400 added on to the $12,000. And then what about your time? What about the time of the other people in your team that were involved in the recruiting, the interviewing, the hiring process, the training and onboarding process? I mean, let's just put that at a modest $5,000. Okay. Then one more piece to the equation is lost customer confidence. When you have someone who's not a 5-star fit for the role, who's kind of muddling along and such, you're going to lose some customer confidence. A ball is going to get dropped. Something's not going to go well. And you know what? That's going to be worth probably $3,600 in lost customer confidence. So how did we get to that $23,000 in the cost of a mishire? $12,000 in 3 months of wasted salary, $2,400 in employer taxes and benefits, $5,000 in onboarding and training and recruitment and hiring time spent by you and your team, and another $3,600 in lost customer confidence. So make sure that when you make a hire, it's not a, well, maybe they'll work out kind of thing, because that's your answer right there, not to hire the person. If you get this kind of high pitch, well, maybe, then please don't make that hire. Go back, cast a wider net, go fish in other ponds, and find that ideal 5-star fit employee for the role, and then avoid the cost of a mishire going forward. The second slippery slope that you need to avoid is existing employee entitlement. So when you made your first hires and they've stuck with you through getting to the first million, getting to the next 2 million, maybe to 3 million, that's great. And that's nice. And they have worn many hats. They've done lots of things. But if you're trying to take a company from $1, $2, $3 million to $10 million. Well, my friends, the people that got you to $1, $2, and $3 million are probably not the people who can get you to $10 million. Because these people that started with you don't necessarily have the experience. You guys have figured it out while you were figuring it out. And that works, and that's fine. But no one at a company of any size should be the linchpin to your company that you can't live without. So if you have people who feel threatened when you try to bring in other people who have more experience, who are savvier, who have done the things that you want to do going forward, and they've been at the places that you want to take your company to be, then you shouldn't be beholden to employees who feel entitled that, hey, I've been around here the longest. I should be the vice president. I should be the chief operating officer. I should be the one in charge because I was around here from the beginning. That right there is a recipe to just kind of be stuck where you are. Because that person, again, doesn't have the knowledge, the experience, the been there, done that you need to get to that next level. Because if they did, why are you stuck at $1, $2, or $3 million, right? Loyalty is good, but just because someone has a job with you doesn't mean that they should be a lifer in your organization. Some people want to grow, and that's great. And some people just like being comfortable. So I too oftentimes see those people with entitlement that I've been here the longest. I'm entitled to the next big role. I'm entitled to a raise now. I'm entitled to make more because I've been around the longest, are the people that are the wrong people for your organization. And I oftentimes see people that try to be the linchpin and have the sense of entitlement, try to like close in on everything and say, I got this, don't worry about this, I got this. And if you have an employee who is like, I got this, and is wanting no one involved and even you out of it, and their hands are up, and then when you talk about bringing someone else in, they get really sort of desperate seeming and panicked of like, hey, no, I'm capable, I got this. That right there is a red flag that they're hiding something. And if you bring someone else in, they're threatened and feeling like they could be found out. No one in any organization should be the one that you are wholly dependent upon. You should be able to let anyone go at any time and be okay. Yeah, it'll be rough for a week or so, but you should be able to recover from that, because whether that person leaves because they take another job or something else, something tragic could happen. And that person could be gone because, I mean, the proverbial they got hit by a bus tragically story. That's why you need great people in your organization who are not going to have this sense of entitlement, not have this sense of, I've got this, I'm in control, I'm not going to share with anyone, I'm going to keep this all a secret so that you're dependent upon me. That right there, again, huge red flag that is going to cost you the ability to scale, to grow, and might be costing you some other things like possibly embezzlement or other waste, fraud, and abuse in your organization. Again, I'm speaking from the experience of working with hundreds of companies and entrepreneurs over my 25 plus years of being an entrepreneur and a consultant. Then the third slippery slope to avoid is failing to hire to scale to new heights. So if you have a vision that you want to take your company from 1, 2, 3 million to 10 million, well, then you have to hire people who have been where you want to go. And those people can help you bring up your processes, your systems, your selling, your marketing, your scalability. It has to be someone who has experience. So do not be afraid to hire people who are more experienced than you. The thing is they're not a threat to you. There's very few people in this world who are crazy enough to be entrepreneurs. Most people don't like the risk that we as entrepreneurs thrive on. So the people that you hire, as long as they've never had their own business, they're fine. They're never going to be a threat to you. They're not going to want to start their own business at the age of 40 or 50. So make sure that you are really going after people who have that experience and that knowledge of where you want to take your business. And the plus side of hiring someone who's experienced like that, working for your smaller organization, is you're going to be a delight of an employer. There's going to be less bureaucracy in your organization. You're not going to be this corporate behemoth that has, kind of held them back to certain degrees. Things will move a lot faster in your smaller, nimble organization. And that is an attraction factor to people who are just kind of sick of the corporate games and the politics and the bureaucracy. So don't be afraid and don't think that you can't hire someone who comes from a larger organization and has the experience of where you want to take your organization. So how do you fix and avoid these slippery slopes when it comes to hiring and building your team to take your organization to that next level? It takes getting really clear on what you want and what you need for the organization and how people are spending their time, right? Because again, every payroll dollar should be producing a return on that investment of what you're paying someone in terms of their salary. So we say that payroll should produce a 3.5x return on salary. So if you're paying someone $50,000 per year, they should be having $175,000 positive impact on revenue. Okay. That's 3.5x $50,000 in salary. And that $175,000 positive impact on payroll, you should know exactly what they need to be doing to hit that. What I like to do when I'm considering a new role or I'm working with someone who's adding a new role to their organization or making a new hire is, hey, let's look at what their week should look like. Let's look at what their month should look like. Are there things that need to happen in the quarter? Get out a calendar with time blocks for the day and really block out what you envision them spending their actual time on that you're paying them per hour to spend on, and really get it dialed in of how they should be spending their days and what needs to get done that drives that positive impact on revenue. Then from there, you're going to see really clearly when you map out someone's ideal week of how they should be spending their time, hey, it kind of boils down to these 3 to 5 key responsibilities. Great. 75% of what your employees are doing should be in the 3 to 5 key responsibilities of their role. And when you have those 3 to 5 key responsibilities, then we're going to quantify what success looks like for each of those responsibilities. You're going to quantify it with a number or dollar value, a percentage, a time frame. So, for example, with my team of claims adjudicators, when they're processing long-term care claims to either pay or deny a claim, they need to produce 98% financial accuracy and they need to process on average 42 claims per day. I've quantified with numbers and percentages what success looks like when they are adjudicating and processing long-term care claims. And when you give those success metrics to each responsibility, here's the best part. Your employees in those roles that are quantified with success metrics can manage themselves. Everyone is on the same page of what success looks like. And so they can manage themselves. They can know, hey, did I hit 42 today? Oh, darn, I hit 40. That means I'm below my average that I need to be. I kind of need to squeeze out maybe 44 tomorrow to get back to 42. 5-star employees are savvy, they're smart, they're driven, they are made for the role. They are perfectly suited. They are ideal fits for the role. And when they know what's expected of them and how they should spend their time and what numbers they need to hit, they'll hit them. And if you've got someone who's not hitting it, well, then you're on that slippery slope there, my friend. You've made a mishire. You've got someone who feels entitled. You've got someone who is just not getting it and not a right fit. So the challenge to you is fix this. Let's make sure that you are building a team that scales and grows with your organization, and you've got this. So if you would like to get the resources associated with today's episode, then please visit profitfirstnation.com and click on resources. And if you'd like to connect with a Profit First professional bookkeeper, accountant, or coach, again, go to profitfirstnation.com and click on contact. Cheers to another profitable day, my entrepreneurial friends.